Well, you want to take it from the top then?
Yeah, so here we are with Rick and the remote Garden Fork radio truck. I guess we could call that, you know?
I think so. Good morning, Eric. We're at the Norfolk Botanical Gardens Honeybee Festival. It's sponsored by the Gardens and the Beekeepers Guild of Southeast Virginia. We're here. We have all kinds of dealers and of course the public is here. The whole point is to educate the public. About maybe between 2,000 and 4,000 people will go through the exhibits. We'll teach them all about beekeeping. We have observation hives. We have demonstration hives. We do some extraction and show them how we extract honey. We have games for the kids, food trucks. Brushy Mountain Bee Farm is here. Lots of woodenware salesmen. And of course, all the beekeepers are selling their honey and bee products. And then there's, so it's a pretty big deal here, and makes a lot of money for the botanical gardens, which are just absolutely beautiful. They're a real jewel here in Norfolk.
Well, cool. Well, this is kind of exciting. It's we're kind of cutting edge podcast. It's not really radio, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, we call it radio. I still call it tape, even though I haven't cut tape in a very long time.
Well, actually, NPR calls it tape too. They're like, "Oh, we have some tape of the politicians saying blah blah blah." You know, even though it's all SD cards now. So
right, yeah.
Well, let's geek out. Let's geek out just for a minute if people are curious how we're doing this.
Oh well, I'm on my iPhone, and I have a Zoom microphone. Made for podcasting, attached to the charger spot on my phone, and then a nice pair of headphones on so I can hear you well, and a little better quality than normally you get from a microphone, from a regular cell phone. At least I hope it is. And so we're doing this via the Wi-Fi here at the center. And it's really made for podcasting, for doing on-the-street interviews, kind of roving around talking to people. It's a really nice system, and it's one of the Zoom semi-professional microphones. It costs, I think, about $75 or so. It's not really expensive.
And then we're using Skype.
Right, and we're using Skype. And we tried it originally just using the cell phone signal, and it wasn't broadcast quality enough for us to continue. We kept getting dropped, and found out that they had a guest Wi-Fi here at the Botanical Gardens, and so we're using that. And you can also check on their Eagle Cam. We have a new set of eaglets here at the Botanical Gardens.
And what Botanic Garden is that again?
This is the Norfolk Botanic Gardens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Well, it sounds pretty good. It sounds like we actually know what we're doing here, which is unusual.
Well, I heard you do your solo show yesterday, and talking about the skylights and the skyline of Brooklyn, and it just sounded like it was a really nice show, and talking about the challenges of keeping up with an older home.
Yeah, I just found out another nightmare I have to deal with. I have to open up a wall, and I'm just like, it just doesn't stop. The part of the problem was that the building was a rental for like 30 years. So, and the people that maintained it did not do a very good job because they either didn't want to spend the money or weren't paid by the landlord very well. So they just did the cheapest stuff they could. And now I'm having to fix a lot of that stuff. So
yeah, that happens a lot. I probably could have built a new house for what I put into my house, fixing it up. But we kind of bought the house for the neighborhood and for its location. It's a place where we can retire in place for a good long time, and so that means something to us. The Norfolk Botanic Gardens, by the way, is adjacent to the international airport, so you'll hear some traffic every now and then.
Oh, all right. I hear a plane in the background. Yeah.
So it's a never-ending thing, and of course for me. Down here, the heat indexes have been 120, with real temperatures over 100 almost every day until yesterday. We had 3 inches of rain yesterday. Came in just a downpour, and it's a very nice day today. But it's the first break in the weather we've had in at least 2 months.
Yeah, we had up at the house 98 degrees last weekend, which is incredibly unusual for up in the mountains. Well, they're East Coast mountains at least.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and it was so hot, I was just like, and the power went out.
Oh no.
And I was like, let's just go back to New York. We have an air conditioner in the window, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's really turning into strange weather. You know, they're calling it global weather weirding more than global warming. You know, it's really strange weather almost everywhere.
I was wondering, you know, when we get these downpours now, it's 3 inches of rain, but it isn't absorbed by the ground. It runs off.
Oh, exactly. We got 3 inches of rain in less than 45 minutes. And then it was over, and it was just a straight downpour, and then it was gone, and it all went into the ocean and into the York River and stuff. It didn't James River. It did not absorb into our water supplies.
Yeah, we need to kind of like get a bunch of rain barrels, you know, just fill the yard with rain barrels.
Well, you know, Los Angeles is already talking about all their street runoff has purposely been directed into the ocean for decades. And they're rethinking that and saying, if this is the way the new future is going to be, we need to start saving this and redirecting it back into the, into cisterns under the big buildings and stuff, and hanging on to it, not just washing it away.
Yeah, we could learn something from the guys and the women up in the International Space Station right now, because they recycle water quite a bit there.
Oh yeah, they recycle everything.
And there's nothing wrong with that, I think.
Oh no, I mean, in the end, all water's kind of recycled urine in a way.
Yeah.
It just takes a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's time to think about wise water usage. That's for sure. But it's been really tough on us here. The hot, dry weather and these just very brief rains has just made the mosquito populations here explode, and we haven't had any of the Zika problems or anything around here yet. But Thomas Jefferson always referred to this region as a malarial swamp, and so the mosquito trucks and the aerial spraying have just we're on the edge of the Great Dismal Swamp, and the spraying here has just been intense the last few weeks, and that's not good for the bees. It's not good for the native pollinators, and if people really get wound up about diseases, and as they probably should. It's not going to be good for our bees either.
No, I actually it was so hot up here that I popped the tops. I wedged open the tops of the hives here.
Oh wow.
I have to go close them up again because it cooled off substantially. But I don't know if you saw it yet, but I posted a canning video yesterday, and it's actually one of our older videos that I updated.
I saw that it was up, but I haven't had a chance to see it. Whenever these opportunities, I'm also shooting the video and taking a lot of pictures here at this event for the Bee Guild. And whenever these things happen, because I use the camera so little sometimes, I have to practice like 3 or 4 days in advance to make sure everything is automatic, because they're so complicated and there's so many pieces, and I don't want to screw things up. And so I've been concentrating on that. So I saw it go up, but I hadn't had a chance to look at it yet.
Oh, that's fine. But it's an older video, and I was betting that a bunch of people haven't seen it because it's been buried for a while on the giant list. So I cleaned it up, I re-edited it, but it was our first time canning, so it's not really a how-to. It's almost a what not to do video.
Well, Monica in Chicago had some really intriguing pictures of some sort of like a salsa or a a chutney or a hot sauce that was fermenting, and I had never thought about that. And I asked her what kind of recipe it was, and she's ignored me. So, Monica, if you hear this, you need to put your recipe up so we can find out what you've been doing there.
I think it's a sriracha sauce.
Ah, well, maybe that's it. But whatever she's doing, it looks intriguing.
And
And
this is on the Garden Fork group on Facebook, right?
right, yeah, the Garden Fork Q&A site. It's a closed site, but it's only closed so that we can keep the spammers off. All you have to do is apply, and if you're a listener, and we'll be glad to approve you. Just want to make sure that the traffickers of porn and such don't get a chance to apply their skills on our site.
Yeah, we had a couple, but what can you do? So
Yeah, there are a few, and for those of you that are on the site, you notice them on the drop down on those things. There's always a report button. If you click that report button, there are about 5 or 6 of us that are now authorized to take things down. So just report them, and we'll take them down.
yeah, that's all on the Facebook, the closed Facebook group. You just have to ask to join, and usually within a day we approve you. So last weekend my internet was out and the power was out, so it was kind of nice to be offline for a while.
More and more I'm doing that, scheduling long periods of time. In fact, one of the things I've been doing with my iPhone is really exploring some of the more esoteric settings. And I found out with Do Not Disturb, I can set it for 24 hours, or actually 23 hours and 59 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And no phone call, and then you can set what comes through, and so any call that repeats within 3 minutes gets put through, and then you can either make a list, or you can say everyone that's on your in your contact list can get through at any time.
Right.
And that has really cut down on the sales calls and the new phantom calls. Those things are kind of amazing to me. They call and there's no one there.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Well, what it is they're just checking to see if a human answers. If a human answers, then they sell that number to the people who want to call for something else. And so if you just don't answer them, then it goes straight to voicemail, and you're not put on those call lists anymore.
Huh.
And so the more you pick up those phantom calls, the more times you'll get sales calls.
All right.
So I've been, but the only bad thing about the Do Not Disturb is it cuts off. Well, actually, it's good. It cuts off your messaging notifications and your email notifications, which is, imposes a little bit of discipline on you if you're trying to do other things. But it also shuts off your calendar notifications and reminder notifications. So that's the downside of it. But I'll live with that. My life is not that complicated anymore.
Yeah, I've definitely I turn off a lot of notifications now because it just is a distraction, I think. So
Yeah, and you feel compelled to check, and when you check, it's really nothing. I leave. She who must be obeyed can always find me, and that's all that really needs to be done.
yeah.
And the other thing is, one of my relatives has developed some dementia, and one of the things that we helped her spouse do is set her Find My Phone so that all of us can always find her phone. So if she wanders off or something, there's a chance that we can track her down. Even if it's turned off, it will report her last known location.
Oh, all right.
So all the family can now kind of keep track of where she is, and so that gives us a little bit of peace of mind. And it's also pretty good for tracking kids. You don't have to keep calling the kids all the time to see where they are, or if they made it to the lake, or if the kids are on their way home for supper. You can kind of just check. As long as you're paying the bills, you can kind of set the rules, I guess.
Yeah.
And set the Find My Phone so that you can look and see if the kids are on their way home or not.
Huh.
So just thinking about ways to use the technology so it's not intrusive, but it's also ways to make yourself feel a little better about how things are going.
Is there any new technology in the beekeeping the beekeeping event you're at?
I have not seen any. Beekeepers are really pretty traditional. I'm expecting some new stuff pretty soon when it comes to weighing hives and keeping track of humidity and activity in hives. But I haven't seen anything here yet. But I haven't been over to see the guys from Brushy Mountain Beekeeping yet.
Oh, all right. Yeah, they might have some gizmos.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anything else new in your world?
I'm putting in a French drain on the side of my house, and I'm making a video about that.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Well, I have my neighbor kid who mows my lawn is digging, so
Mm.
I just point.
You know, yesterday I walked through uh, the orange store, and I needed just a little specialty washer or bolt. And I started pulling out all those little drawers over in the hardware section
Yeah.
and going through each one of them. And I found the most amazing things in there. Things that you would, you look at it and you go, I haven't seen one of these in 25 years.
Yeah.
And if you really look and examine all that, and the reason I come to that point is this front part of this store is a rental shop, and they have great equipment. If you have a project like a French drain, I was thinking of a ditch witch in your case.
Yep.
Power augers. I had a friend that was digging post holes in hard clay by hand, and I said, we need to go rent you a power auger, and you hook it up to your, my case, the Matrix, and just drug it home. We got his fence post in almost no time at all.
Yeah.
Plus, so think about those things. For $25, $30, maybe a little more for the ditch witch. You can save yourself a lot of time and effort and actually do a much better job.
They do. I'm actually kind of impressed by some of the stuff that's available now at the rental centers. You can rent a backhoe now.
Yes. And they even have the little backhoes that will go through like a 4-foot gate.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can get them into your backyard. I'm still working on plans for my mythical shack out back. And when I do that, I'm going to need a ditch witch to get cable, LAN and power out to it, because I want to bury the cables. And I'm not going to dig. I'm going to rent a little ditch witch and get that put in myself. So I'm looking forward to that project. But I'm not going to dig anything by hand at my age.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
They're good.
And they even had a power chainsaw, one of those limbing chainsaws on a pole.
Yeah.
That was on like a 25-foot pole. And that'd be great for trimming up trees instead of trying to use one of those long pole saws and hacking back and forth with it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You just get all kinds of equipment. Neighbor of mine was trying to break up a huge piece of concrete in his driveway with a sledgehammer. Oh, there go the dogs.
Yeah.
And we went and got him a
Jackhammer.
jackhammer. And so you can do all kinds of things. Let technology be your help.
Yeah, speaking of the pole pruner, Troy Built has a 4-cycle string trimmer that has a number of attachments, and it has a chainsaw, little 8-inch chainsaw at the end of a pole, and when you snap it all together on your string trimmer, it's 11 feet long.
Wow. See, that's helpful. That's helpful.
I have one because they sent it to me.
How nice.
They are a sponsor. But we had one of my apple trees had a broken limb way up there, and it was so much easier just to go, brr,
Yeah. And do not start climbing trees at your age.
No, I have the kid. So.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Okay, well, I got to move on. There's a lot happening here. People are starting to show up in droves. Lots and lots of kids. Kid activities start. Actually, we're going to have a bee contest, bee costume contest. A lot of kids show up dressed as bees, and they'll do a parade, and then we'll judge which one's the best. But every kid's a winner around here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for making this happen. This is a kind of a fun little live remote from Garden Fork.
Yeah, from the Norfolk Botanical Gardens and the Beekeepers Guild of Southeast Virginia at the Honeybee Festival 2016. Talk to you later, my friend. Bye-bye.
All right, see ya.
Garden Fork's theme music is used under license from uniquetracks.com.